Some players do get it more naturally, like I said, but it is doable to catch up to these players. But I don't want you to just take my opinion for it. I've talked with NHL coach Mike Johnson and former NHL player Derek Roy, and they both say the same thing. What's going on, guys? This is Brian from Advancement Hockey Advising here. And today we'll be talking about hockey IQ and whether this is a skill that can be taught or not. So honestly, there's tons of skills that you need to master to become a great hockey player, right? There's skating, stick handling, passing, shooting, whole bunch of stuff. And most coaches agree that you can improve on all of these. Obviously, some players have, gifted natural talent and they start here, while other players really have to work their way up to get to these players and skills. But most coaches agree that you can catch up to players, except for one particular skill. I feel like in hockey, there's always been this one skill that coaches said either you have or you don't, and that is hockey IQ. And what these coaches claim pretty much is that hockey IQ is just this innate ability that separates the elite players from just the good ones. Now, I do think that it is the skill that really separates, the different levels of hockey. You can really see it when players play. But is it true that hockey IQ can't be taught? Is it really true that it's this innate ability? And these are the questions that we're going to be answering in this video when we dive in here. All right, now before we dive into the video, as always, just a quick reminder to absolutely smash that like button. And if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, without further ado, let's dive right into the video here. All right, so now time for me to answer the question here. Can hockey IQ be taught? Well, my take on it is that it can. I think you either have it or you don't notion that's been in the hockey world forever. I think that's a myth. And I think that it actually can be taught if you do put enough time and effort into it. But I think the reason why this myth has propelled for so long is that because it's a creative skill. It's not just it's not stick handling where you can just see, objectively see if a player's got it or not. Hockey IQ is more subtle than that. It's very creative. It takes a lot of practice and attention to really get good at making the right little plays and putting yourself in the right positions when you don't have the puck, and being good defensively and having a good IQ on the ice. It takes a lot of attention to do that. And because it's such a creative skill, it's so hard to pinpoint that coaches just say, you know what, let's just attribute this to this innate ability. This player has it and then this player doesn't, right? But I think that if the player does the right things, which we'll talk about in a sec, player can build up their hockey IQ and become better players as a result. Now, that being said, I do think some players naturally do have hockey IQ better than others, but that doesn't mean that you can't build your way up for it. But it will take a lot of practice and a lot of patience because it is a creative skill, right? It's like you can't become a master painter overnight. You can't become Picasso overnight if you try, right? It really is a creative skill and it takes a long time to really master it. Some players do get it more naturally, like I said, but it is doable to catch up to these players, or at least get somewhat close to these players if you put deliberate time and effort into it. But I don't want you to just take my opinion for it. I've talked with NHL coach Mike Johnson and former NHL player Derek Roy, and they both say the same thing, that it can be taught to a certain extent. So why don't you guys just watch little snippets of the clips that we had in the interviews.
Hockey IQ can be taught. It's not you have it or you don't. Especially if you start at a young age, you'll definitely, or watch a lot of hockey, you'll definitely see patterns and develop hockey IQ for sure.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, on the hockey sense side, for the coaches out there, sometimes people say, well, you can't teach hockey sense, it's innate. I agree to a point that hockey sense, you can see it in a 14-year-old and it will continue on, because if he's got it then, he will definitely have it at 17, 18. But I think you can teach it in a couple ways. One, through video.
As you can see in those clips, guys with lots of NHL experience both think that hockey IQ can be developed to a certain extent. So don't let coaches out there tell you that, oh, you just don't have the hockey IQ, you can't make it. It can be done. You just got to put a lot of time and effort into it, and you can get better at it. All right, the first thing is to watch others that have really good hockey IQ, see what they do. So for example, look at Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby. These guys, look at how they see the ice, the little plays they make, right before they're about to get the puck. See them looking at their head up, how they look at things, and then see how they react and a quick play that they make, and try and take that into your game. Watching hockey, watching video of these guys in the NHL, also watching your teammates that are really good, teammates that see the ice really well, see their little habits, you can also talk to them about it, but watch what they do. That's the best way to learn, and try and implement that in your game afterwards. That's honestly the number one way that I learned a bunch of little quick plays, little tricks and all that, is by watching other players that were better than me and that had really high hockey IQ that I could take, their little plays from and get better. All right, so number two here is to watch video of yourself. again, watching video, watching others, watching yourself, it's so important. That's how you learn all the little plays. But watch yourself play, see the things you did right, and then pay attention. Okay, why did this work? And then see, moving forward when you play again, see if these plays, you can reproduce them and see if they actually work consistently. If so, definitely keep these kind of plays in the back of your mind for the right situations when the game arises. And then once you see the things that work, also watch for the things that didn't work. This little play that you did, is this something that it was just a fluke, the defenseman just got a good stick on it? Or is it something that, probably wasn't the right play? There was other options that were better available, that would have been better. And then keep that in mind next time you're playing, That's how you kind of know is to you see the things that work and don't work, and then you kind of adapt from there and you modify your game, and then you get better as a result. By watching yourself, you're able to do this. So pay attention to the things that work, and then pay attention to the things that don't work, and then adapt from there. All right, so number 3 here, it's a little bit similar to the first 2 points, but it's different because it's more, live action. It's to reflect after each shift in the games, and then after each drill in the practices. And what I mean by reflect is to, after you do, let's say, a drill in practice, if something worked, great, you want to try that again and see if it works again. And then if, you tried something, it didn't work, let's say a 2-on-1 play, it didn't work, and you've noticed, oh my God, it hasn't worked lately, maybe it's time to, try something else and to consider other options. Maybe, think back of the play and see how it developed and how you can, if there was other options available, and if you can try something else moving forward. That's the kind of reflection you want to have, because you do have a lot of downtime between these drills and the practices and these shifts in the game. So it's always good to reflect, because that's how you consistently learn. So you want to be reflecting like that. All right, now moving on to number 4 here, and you'll see this one and the next one, they're not directly related to hockey IQ where you learn and adapt as you go like the other ones, but they're more, things that'll assist you at getting better hockey IQ. And you'll see what I mean in a sec. So number 4 here is stick handling with your head up. And why is this important? How does this help? Well, basically, if you're stick handling with your head down all the time, you won't see the ice like you do. Then if you're good at stick handling with your head up and it becomes second nature, let's say you're able to always stick handle with your head up or most of the time, and you're able to see the ice all the time. Well, if it's second nature, you don't have to think about that. You have more bandwidth to think about all the different plays that you have to do. So that's why stick handling with your head up is a key skill you want to practice day in and day out. Not only to have, better moves and be able to better move on the ice, but to be able to see the ice better. So this is a huge skill that you want to master. And point number 5 here, the last thing I want you to focus on to get better is to calm down on the ice. Okay, have a sense of calm. Now, how does this help? It's not like you're learning and improving like the other ones, right? It's not stick handling with your head up where you can see the ice better, but being calm on the ice actually does allow you to kind of see the ice better, because you're not when you're stressed out, sporadic all over the place, you're not paying attention to all the things. When you're in a calmer, more energized state, you don't want to be calm and flat, but you want to be in this calm and energized state. You feel more confident, first of all, but second of all, you take that half a second or half a moment to think more clearly and to make better decisions. And it's hard to explain, it's hard to put into words, but any player that's felt this, that's felt more calm on the ice, when you go play pickup versus when you actually play a game, when you go play pickup, you tend to make nicer plays and better plays because you're less stressed, right? You're more relaxed on the ice, and that's the state that you want to be in, because the play just slows down a little bit more. You have a little bit more time. It just feels like you have a little bit more time to make that play, and typically you make better plays as a result. So doing this, we have a bunch of mindset techniques and stuff that we talked about to get in that state and to get in the zone on the ice, but this is really an art that you want to master to be able to have better hockey IQ and to be a better player overall. All right, that's almost a wrap for the video here, but let's just do a quick recap of the main points here so you guys get the main messages that I want to get across. So first of all, my opinion is that hockey IQ can definitely be taught. It's a myth that it's either you have it or you don't, and it can be taught if you have enough patience and put a lot of work in practice and are ready to learn. Second thing, how do you improve hockey IQ? Well, the first thing is to watch others play, then is to watch video of yourself. Third thing is to reflect between drills and between shifts during games. And then fourth thing is to stick handle with your head up. And the fifth thing and last thing here is to be calm on the ice. All right, guys, that is it for the video. Hopefully you got some value out of it here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You know, we put a lot of work into these to try and help you guys out, and hopefully you get some sort of a gold nugget that you can take home and become a better hockey player with. If you like this video and you haven't already, consider absolutely destroying that like button. It goes a long way for the algorithm and for other people to be able to, you know, see these kind of videos, right? And if you're new here and if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed the video at all, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. Also too, if you have any questions for me, my team, anything at all that you want to talk about, feel free to drop a comment below down in the comments section, or send us an email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on that next one.